Hey, what's up everybody? I hope you all are doing absolutely fine. This is Rudraditya, and in this video I'm going to do the full camera review of the OnePlus Nord 2. Yeah, camera review, not the full in-depth review. That video will come after 4 to 5 days, and I thought that why not make a separate camera review of this phone, because if I will include the camera part in the full in-depth review, then that video will become so long and still I have to skip some points of the cameras. Like I can't talk in depth about the camera part, so I thought that why not make a separate video. And also you guys want to see the camera review on my channel, so why not? Well, see, if you want to know each and everything about the cameras of this phone, then make sure to watch the video till the end to know everything. And I have been using this from last 15 days. Since I bought this phone, I am using this as my daily driver. So yeah, I clicked a lot of photos and I like the primary sensor of this phone a lot. Well, I will talk more in the video through the photo samples and the video samples. So now without wasting any time, let's get started. So in OnePlus Nord 2, you will get a triple rear camera setup in which the wide, the primary sensor is 50 megapixel f1.9, which comes with Sony IMX766, the same sensor which was used in OnePlus 9 Pro's ultra wide angle lens. Then you will get an 8 megapixel f2.3 ultra wide angle lens with 119-degree field of view, and then there is the third lens which is completely useless, a 2 megapixel f2.4 monochrome lens. Now if we talk about selfie camera, then you will get a 32 megapixel shooter with f2.5 aperture. Alright guys, so starting first with the daylight shots, then I truly love the daylight photos, and thanks to the Sony IMX766 sensor. I mean, they just didn't give us this sensor for marketing, they actually did a very good work with this sensor, and the overall image processing is so good. Like for example, the dynamic range, the white balance, the colors, everything is so good. Now in some phones you may notice that the colors are very contrasty, very saturated, very boosted, but this is not the case here in the OnePlus Nord 2, which I personally like, because if you want to increase the contrast and saturation, definitely you can do those things in the editing task. Like you can play with your photos in whatever way you want. Like if you want to change the white balance of the photo, you can do that. If you want cooler tone, if you want warmer tone, you can do those things. But as a point and shoot camera, I would love to see more natural colors, and also with good white balance, and also not very warm or not very cool photos either. So I want a very natural and very accurate photos from my smartphone camera, and in the OnePlus Nord 2 I can clearly see those things. And I'm a fan of dynamic range in smartphone cameras. See, as I said, that we can adjust all those things, like we can adjust the tones, we can adjust the saturation and brightness and contrast level. But what we cannot adjust a lot is the human skin tones and dynamic range. And the dynamic range is actually very good in this phone. To be honest, skin tone is also very good, but it's not the best. Like it's detailed, the image, the face looks detailed, there's a good sharpness, good details in the face. But if I talk about the skin tones, then still I can see sometimes little bit of whitening on the faces. It's not too much, like not too much whitening, but still there is some. And in the direct sunlight, definitely the camera struggles. It captures like a oil painting type of photo, which looks very weird. So OnePlus definitely needs to work on their software, on their image processing when it comes to human skin tones in direct sunlight. Because yeah, I tried in a lot of different temperature in different places, and still I didn't like the photos of the primary sensor in the direct sunlight. Now talking about the ultra wide angle lens, then again ultra wide angle lens is good if you talk about the colors, dynamic range, and also the field of view, and those overall like there is no bending in the photos that much that we generally used to see in the mid-range phones. That is not the case here, but it's just that if company could have give us a 13 megapixel or 16 megapixel ultra wide angle sensor, then it could have been much better, because the photos are so soft and there is definitely total lack of details. So if you try to zoom in to see the details in the ultra wide shots, you are going to disappoint. So that's the only complaint. Otherwise, and this is one thing which can't be fixed through a software update, because if as I said, we want more megapixels to actually get more details, and we can't get more megapixel through in software OT update, right? So now that's gone for forever. So yeah, just keep that in mind, that if you're going to buy the OnePlus Nord 2, you will get softer and less details photos when you shoot ultra wide angle lens. But I'm glad that we have the option of shooting more field of view at the first place. So yeah, that's cool. But now talking about the third lens, monochrome lens, yeah, it's a monochrome lens, so that's it. Now let's talk about the night shots. Then again, thanks to this Sony IMX766 sensor, I mean shooting from the primary wide angle lens, it's actually very good. The amount of light the sensor gets in actually helps in to give us a very good image quality. You can see a lot of details, less noise, and also the photos are not too much bright that it looks like a daylight shot. It will give you a feel like it's a it's a night shot. And personally, I like this type of image, the type of image OnePlus Nord 2 is giving us. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, OnePlus done a very good job when it comes to dynamic range, landscape shots, and of course night shots. Now let's talk about videos. Alright guys, so this is the video sample of the front camera of OnePlus Nord 2, and you can shoot up to maximum of 1080p 30fps. That's a disappointment because in the original OnePlus Nord we can shoot at 4K 60fps from the front camera, but here you can just shoot 1080p 30fps. Talking about the quality, then I'm in a room lighting condition and the quality seems fine. But in human, if we talk about the human skin tones, then again in direct sunlight the front camera struggles same as the rear. I mean, the camera of OnePlus Nord 2 definitely struggles in direct sunlight when it comes to human subject. But one very good thing about the front camera is that it's wide. Like this is at full stretch. This is how the angle which you will get. But if you just hold your arm at comfortable position, then this is the field of view that you will get. So this is actually very good. So if you are thinking to do casual vlogs from this phone, definitely you can consider this. Alright guys, so here you will get one more additional feature in the OnePlus Nord 2 is that you can enable the bokeh mode, and you can do this portrait bokeh videography from both front camera as well as rear camera. However, from the rear camera you will only stuck to 1080p 30fps. You can't do 1080p 60 or 4K 30, and from the front obviously you just have one option of 1080p 30fps. So yeah, it's there. Well guys, talking more about the video, then the stabilization part is actually very confusing. I guess OnePlus didn't include OIS in any of the video modes. EIS is enabled in all the modes because I ran at same speed with all the like 1080p 30 60 fps and then at 4K 30 fps, and the stabilization looks very much similar in all those videos. So I definitely doubt that there is OIS in the video modes. And one more thing, if we talk about the interface of this new color OS, I mean if we talk about the camera interface, then it's not very user friendly. You will not get the option of EIS and OIS anywhere in the settings. And talking about the 1080p 60 fps footage in daylight, then sometimes it looks overexposed and definitely washed out in all the scenarios. So I'm not impressed at all from the videos of the OnePlus Nord 2. OnePlus has to do a lot of hard work to improve the videos if they can through the software updates, but right now it definitely looks faded and washed out. And personally I don't like the videos of the OnePlus Nord 2 as comparison. OnePlus 9R has way better videos, so that's a disappointment for me here in the video part. Talking about other features, then you can shoot 1080p 30 fps time lapse, but there is no 4K in OnePlus 9R if I recall. Then you will you can shoot 4K time lapse as well. But talking about other features, then yeah, you will get a pro mode which is actually very good for photographers, and also you will get a raw mode in that which is actually very appreciable. So if you are in editing and all those things, then you should definitely go into the expert mode and you should enable raw to take better pictures, and then in post processing you can play with your photos. And if we talk about 50 megapixel, then you can of course shoot 50 megapixel, but if you disable the 50 megapixel, then the image output which you will get is at 12.6 megapixels. So yeah, the normal photos are of 12.6 megapixels. Alright guys, so I showed you all the photo samples and video samples and the camera features of OnePlus Nord 2. Now it's the conclusion time. So see, if you ask me like what you think about this phone, then at this price point it's actually a great camera smartphone. It's not a complete camera by any means, like there are some things which is missing, but the things which are available here is actually very good. And I really appreciate that OnePlus used the Sony IMX766 sensor in this phone, which I already talked about this sensor a lot in this video. But see, yeah, If we talk about video first, then definitely there are a lot of things which is missing here. Like you won't get, you know, stabilization, super stable mode in 4K in the rear, and also there is no 4K time lapse, and there are some, you know, few more things which I already told you. Talking about the front camera, then again you won't get 4K option at all. You will just stuck to 1080p 30 fps, which is kind of disappointing at 30,000 price point. But if we talk about the field of view from front camera, then that's good. But overall, yeah, it's usable. But if we talk about photos, then again, as I said, that when it comes to landscape shots, the dynamic range, colors are excellent. Even the ultra wide angle, you know, lens is very good. It's just that it lacks details, and this is one thing which can't be, you know, fixed through a software update. Yeah, like in videos or in photos, when it comes to human subjects, that thing can fix through a software update, because OnePlus, you know, they just have to work on their image processing in the direct sunlight. I mean, they just have to do the image processing thing right, and then they can really improve. And if they will, you know, improve in the future, I will definitely let you know in all my update reviews, in the software, you know, update reviews videos. So make sure to subscribe the channel and also turn that bell icon on. But yeah, I was talking about the ultra wide angle lens. The lack of details can't be fixed. They could have been used a 13 or 16 megapixel lens to improve the clarity, to improve the details of the photo. All the things which they can do through software is just that they can do over sharpening through image processing, and after that the overall photo will definitely going to mess up. So I don't think that OnePlus is going to do that. They should definitely avoid, you know, doing over sharpening in the ultra wide angle lens of this phone. So the ultra wide angle is going to be as it is, but other things can definitely fix, especially the human skin tones. Other than that, the low light shots, dynamic range, as I said already, all these things are excellent. The colors are excellent as well, not very boosted, not very saturated. It's very close to reality, not accurate enough, but it's still very good according to my liking. So yeah, that's it. That's all about the cameras of OnePlus Nord 2. So at 30,000 price point, I would say that this is definitely a very good recommendation, especially if your concern is camera. You can definitely go with this phone. Otherwise, if you know, your requirements aren't matching with this phone, then you can decide by yourself, right? I told you all the things about the camera of OnePlus Nord 2. So guys, if this video is helpful and enjoyable for you, then definitely smash the like button, share this video with your friends, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I will see you very soon in my next video. Until then, bye bye, take care.